This, what I thought was going to be a fun, silly experience, is turning into something way more serious. Hi guys. So, I got this guy today. I'm sorry that this is like so loose back here. For some reason, they put in these cards in the back that are like supposed to be like, they're on cardstock and they were serrated. So like you can see that they were like meant to be torn out, but they didn't put in tear pages. They actually put one page like actually glued to the back of the book. So why they did that, how they expect people to get them out, I don't know. But yeah, I bought the study guide so I could write it and stuff, and I got the physical book from the library, and I'm going to get the audiobook from one of my multiple streaming services for books and audiobooks now, which, by the way, I use like 15 now, including Audible, so, not 15, like 5, including Audible. So I just thought I'd share this with you. So, it's actually kind of laid out very nicely. So we have, here's like the opening statement, so everything, and then, this is week 1. It's chapters 1 through 3, and then this has for day 1, again, I'm doing all this at once, that you're supposed to read pages 9 through 15. So I will be back. Oh, okay. Oh. Okay, I see. So for this page, you're supposed to read pages 9 through 15. And then... Nope. Yep, 9 through 15 for this whole section. And then here, which is day 2, you're supposed to read 17 through 23. So I'll be back when we're done with that, okay? Okay. So the first chapter starts out with the story of someone they knew in high school, who ended up giving them the story later, or they learned later, who ended up basically kind of having panic attacks because of things that she went through, and that she essentially healed from them, and that seemed very healthy. However, the authors basically say that if you do this and pray enough, you will be fixed of things like depression, panic disorders, broken relationships. That's not true. The healing portion is true, and it sounds like their friend did a lot more than just pray about this. It sounds like she actually worked through her problems and healed from them. So, not terrible, but you have to work through your issues to heal from them. Once you do, a lot of people feel a lot better. But you don't just like magically get over them, and you can't just make them go away, and prayer doesn't fix depression. It's a disease. So there's that. Okay, so they talk about a study that they did, essentially a very, very small study where they asked over 1,000 girls and young women a series of questions, and they ended up in 10 different cities, and these are their conclusions, which I just want to point out that it's a very, very, very tiny study without a focus group, so it's not perfectly accurate. Of course, it wouldn't be perfectly accurate anywho, but I just want to point that out. But thank you for actually giving statistics and doing work. So yeah, so the first thing they want us to do, which I'm just not going to do because of my dyslexia, and it would literally take like 45 minutes for me to do it, I'm not even over exaggerating, is to look up 2 Peter 2:19, and then rewrite the verse in your own words, which is actually a really common strategy to get people to reflect and learn. And like, if you're studying something that's really hard, you're supposed to write what you're learning in your own words so you can retain the information better. But I'm not going to do that because of the amount of time it's going to take with my dyslexia. So let's go on to the next thing. Okay, so don't make fun of my handwriting. I'm severely dyslexic. Anywho, so this is 2, so basically the first one is what's consuming your life, and then we have what are your overwhelming emotions. Obviously for the first one I put work and college, which is getting into college because that's like over consuming at this point, especially with COVID, which I didn't put down because that's just kind of everybody's, issue right now. Then this one about overwhelming emotions. I have PTSD, so you know. And then this one, which is about like what self-destructive things are you doing right now, and I'm actually doing okay with this one currently, which is good. So yay. I mean, I made it through last year without cutting, so I think I can do pretty good for a while. Now let's take their very simplified quiz. So here we go. Hi guys, so sorry I finished both of these, didn't vlog it, I just finished the damn thing today, and I just wanted to kind of like update you basically on what happened and fill you in and talk about the things before I write the review. So this is going to be kind of part book blog, part review, I guess. So let's get into it. 1, pay very, very, very close attention to these parts in the front. Let me figure out. Pay very close attention to what it says you're going to do on that week. And then the chapter and or page numbers, because a lot of times you're only doing a few pages in this section, because otherwise you get very lost in this study. Okay. Now another part that I really liked is line number 7, which is beautiful girls are worth more. This is actually a pretty decent section, and I really, really liked it. But I also want to say that pretty privilege is a thing. And like ignoring the pretty privilege and thin privilege are things is a little bit bizarre to my brain. But yeah, I just wanted to point out that this is here. They also do something where they refer to their statistics all the time, which is fine. They did the survey, but they only interviewed in between over 1,000 and under 2,000 girls and young women. And that's not enough of a statistical graph, nor is it wide enough to really get any serious data. So I just want to point that out. So anytime when they say like 96% of their participants, that's great, but it's a very, very small sample size and there's no control. So, you know, point for advocacy. Then we have the lies about sexuality section. And as you can probably guess, I have a lot of theological differences here. They firmly believe that being any level of queer is a choice, and I firmly do not. So there's that. But a lot of it is they are decided essentially that, okay, in the Bible there's a passage, let me see if I can find it, if not I will link it down below, I don't see it here, about being unevenly yoked in relationship. In my opinion, and in theologians that I have read, unevenly yoked means much more of relationshiply not equal and less of mixed faith marriage or interracial marriage or insert blank here. And yes, that was used to push against interracial marriage. I know it sounds crazy, but the unevenly yoked thing was used to push against interracial marriage. So FYI. So there's that. I do not agree with that statement at all. And I think that interracial marriages are important and valued, and they should be valued. But they somehow think if you aren't married to their specific type of Christian, you will fall apart and your life will be ruined, which just seems a little alarmist to me, but that's me. One that I did like is line number 10, and that's that I need a boyfriend. And it's this is really well done. Some of it is, again, theological differences because purity culture is toxic AF and I don't recommend it. Also, nothing wrong with waiting for marriage. I'm not shaming anybody for doing that or not doing that. I don't care, quite frankly. Unless it is important to our situation, it doesn't matter to me. However, I do know that purity culture is toxic and dangerous and hurts people like crazy. If you want more information on that, I suggest you read Pure. Link down below. Super fucking powerful book. Oh my god. Oh, another one that I really liked is called It's Not Real Sex. And they describe some of their things that are like suggesting sex. I'm like, really? Really? Are we going there? But some things are like, they have a quote from somebody saying, my boyfriend and I are like dedicated to purity. So we just go to conferences and tell teens to do what we do. Have oral sex. And I'm like, when was this book written? Because originally, so the original first publication of this book was in 1973. So I think some of that might be from there. I'm not sure though, but yeah. And then we have this little list of things that are suggesting sex, and it's like low cut tops. I'm not making this up. It doesn't say softcore or anything. It says mild porn. What is mild porn? What is hot porn? What is mild porn exactly? I would like to know what mild porn is. Are we talking softcore? Like what does that mean? That is not words I understand. And then we have this story here, which I thought was like, yikes. Which is the story on page 99, by the way. And they interview this girl. This girl sends in her story about how she wasn't in a relationship by the end of high school. So she was going to make one happen against her parents' wishes. And I'm like, and that's why they didn't actually want you dating. Because forcing yourself into a serious relationship when you're in high school and wondering why you aren't getting ready to be married in high school is yikes. So there's that. Then we have this, that it's okay to be a different person than you are online, and that's supposed to be like 13. But the thing is, their example, and yes, I realize this is for teenagers, and I'm a 20-something reading it. The problem is, we are different people when we interact in different situations. I'm a different person when I'm on here than I'm in a, like, serious professional interview. Then, like, I'm volunteering for a political campaign, and then I'm hanging out with my grandparents. Like, it is always 1,000% authentically me, but I'm tweaking who I am to fit the scenario. And we all do this. A lot of us aren't aware that we're doing this, but we're all doing this. And we always do this. And this is very, very normal. Like, you're a different person in school when you're in education than you are at work. You just are. And, like, this is, like, they've done studies on this. It's been proven. It's just a normal part of human psychology. And to imply that being a slightly different person in different settings is wrong or bad is yikes. And that might be because when this particular book came out, because this one came out in 2011, my guess would be is their data was from before then. So yeah, I don't know. Then we have Leigh 16, which I really, really like. And specifically, it's about youth pastors. But as a pastor's kid, this chapter, or section, rather, Leigh, I guess, goes on to basically say that pastors are people too, and we shouldn't hold them on pedestals. And thank you. Thank you to the authors for this. Because yes, pastors are people too. Pastors' families are people too. They aren't perfect. They are flawed and broken. And then we have the other section that really, really got my goat. I can't control myself when I'm stressed or PMSing. And they go on by the way, in this book, they say, don't let yourself be controlled by your eating. Control your eating completely. They're very, very, very contradictory in this book. In the sex chapter, they go on and on and on and on and on and on and on about the Song of Solomon or Song of Songs, depending on your translation, which is the book of the Bible, which is literally filled of erotic poetry. That's what it is. It is erotic poetry. It is erotic poetry. It's very common from the time and the era, like, so don't do that. But anyway, they essentially, instead of suggesting that if you are having PMS symptoms that are severe enough that they are impacting your life, maybe see a doctor. They don't suggest that at all. They just say, eat more fruits and veggies. That'll take care of the problem. If you are having symptoms so severe that it is impacting your day-to-day life, or it is impacting a huge chunk of your life, like you can't go to school. Like, they share a story of a girl who had to drop out because her PMS, which actually sounds like PMDD, was so severe that she had to drop out of high school. If it is that severe, if it is so severe that you can't function, if your mood swings are so severe that you are like exhibiting bipolar traits, only that time of the month, see a doctor. See a doctor. In that situation, see a doctor. There's also another section in here when they talk about sin, or Satan, I don't remember which one. But anywho, regardless, they go on and on about how you should look at horoscopes. Yeah, horoscopes are bullshit. You shouldn't. They are a bastardization and a whitewashed version of actual astrology. You shouldn't watch psychic TV shows. They don't specify fiction or non-fiction. FYI. You shouldn't play video games with any sort of satanic messaging. Don't specify what that means. You shouldn't do the real kicker. You shouldn't meditate. Okay, you shouldn't meditate, which I think I covered before. But at the end of every single section in their workbook, they have a written prayer and then a verse, and they want you to write out a prayer and think about and pray about that verse, which is a form of meditation. So there's that. So they have a very American white-centric view, from what I can tell, of the world. And they go on in that same chapter about how you shouldn't do yoga because yoga is evil because it's connected to Eastern religions. If you like it, you should do Pilates instead. Fun fact, Pilates is based off of yoga. Most Pilates instructors are also certified in yoga teacher training, are also certified in yoga, because Pilates has a yoga base. It's like saying you can't like rock and roll, but the blues is. It's like saying the blues are terrible, but you can like rock and roll. The blues are the base for rock and roll. And it's just, in the way the sentence is written, in the way it's done, it is very, very, very xenophobic, borderline racist, if not outright racist. It's a whole can of yikes. It's a whole can of yikes. Maybe that is originally left from 1977, but even then, it's still a whole can of yikes, and still xenophobic, and still problematic, and not okay. So just frustrated by that. I'm totally frustrated by that. I'm totally angry by it, actually. Also, according to them, anger is wrong, and you shouldn't feel angry, which is another part of, like, white evangelicalism, American white evangelicalism, where it's like, emotions are fine, but only the positive ones. You shouldn't actually feel the negative ones. And then we have this section about media consumption, which I actually really liked. And it's just funny reading it right now because of COVID, and it's like 2 sections in here. because it's like, listen to your media consumption, check on what you're watching, which, you know, normally would make so much sense, but right now with COVID, like, 90% of what I do, for COVID, because I, you know, did a lot of things online, professionally, was on screens. But, you know, because of COVID, like, I don't go do things out in the world anymore. Like, I'm playing more video games, I'm at home more, I'm doing more things at home. So, and it's basically that you can be a stay-at-home mom, you don't need a career, and that's fine. I do not want to discourage anybody from wanting to be a stay-at-home mom. The reality is a lot of feminists have got that all fucked up and wrong. And the reality is, if somebody genuinely wants to be a stay-at-home mom, that's amazing and wonderful and awesome, and I'm thrilled for them. Beyond thrilled for them that they want to do that. But telling someone like me, who being a stay-at-home wife and mother would destroy, it doesn't help. Like, that's not who I am. That's not who I want to be professionally. I want a career. I've always wanted a career. And it's thinking like this that makes me feel like wanting something like that is wrong. And that if I then therefore have children, which I'm planning on eventually, and because my spouse also might work full-time, I don't know, I haven't met them yet, I'm somehow less good of a mom because I do not stay home with the kids 24/7, because I have a career, because I want a career outside of the home, because I want a career in a male-dominated field, which is just, ugh. I mean, seriously, we have a female vice president now, so like, because I want a job in politics, because that is where, like, it's hard to describe, but it's where I feel like I belong. It's where I feel like I can thrive. Like, I fucking love it, and I'm so passionate and so thrilled and so ready. And the amount of anxiety that has just, like, completely left me about getting a school, paying for school, all of that is just like, it's fine, we'll figure it out, because that is what I want. That is what I want to do. And like, that sense of calm, that sense of safety, that sense of welcomeness to me is God. And telling me that that can't be God because you don't see it that way is problematic. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe, share, follow me on my other social media, all the things.